Mrs. Borden was last seen alive around 9 a.m. by her stepdaughter, the infamous Lizzie Borden, and the maid Bridget. At the time of her death, Lizzie's sister Emma was out of town, and Mr. Borden was out in Fall River, as was Uncle John. Lizzie said that she was downstairs ironing handkerchiefs. Mrs. Borden was killed in the same room where her Uncle John had slept the night before. This room has now become the most sought after stay-over room in the historic Lizzie Borden Axe Murder House and Museum, the John Morse Room, also known as the Murder Room. There was no sign of a struggle, and there were no defensive wounds. Isn't that peculiar? The evidence is unclear whether she was facing forward and couldn't or wouldn't defend herself, or whether she was standing, or whether she was kneeling. But we do know where the wounds were. One blow was above her ear on the left side of her head. Another was between her shoulder blades and was 4 inches deep. Then there were 17 more blows to the back of her head and neck, a total of 19. She was eventually found in a pool of her own coagulated blood, face down. Between the blood and the stomach contents of both victims, the time of her death was placed around 9:30 a.m., a full hour and a half before the death of Mr. Borden. In a photo on the wall in the dining room where the autopsy was done, you can see she was lying flat on her stomach, and you can see the pool of blood around her head. In the mirror, you can also see the camera that took the photo. Did you know that the crime scene photos taken there were the first crime scene photos ever taken in the United States? How is that for a morbid, fun fact?